Welcome back to Newswatch 12 today. Let's take a look at what's trending around the country and the world. The FDA believes a mobile app can actually now help people with terrifying nightmares. The federal agency has approved the NightWear system as a form of treatment for PTSD patients. NightWear is only available on Apple Watches. It does allow clinicals to monitor patients who suffer from traumatic nightmares. Those nightmares have been linked with higher rates of suicide. The app also vibrates when it perceives that a patient is in the middle of a nightmare. It can gently wake that person up. NightWear can only be downloaded with a prescription. Taking a look at that, I don't know how to feel about this. I like it. I think the idea of it's good. I'm a little wary of how technology like this works. I think if it helps patients, then that is wonderful. That is amazing. But I feel like there could be some negative side effects from this. We've seen a lot with that heart rate monitor not being accurate. It can sometimes also freak people out. But I'm happy that we're taking technology to the next level. I don't know, Devin, what do you think about this?
I think this can definitely benefit people because I know it's very hard with what's going on with nightmares these days, especially PTSD, that's definitely a very hard situation. So I personally think it can probably help those to really kind of, wake them up out of that deep sleep. And who knows, maybe it can kind of help things out down the road. Now, there's going to be some learning curves with this, to acknowledge your concern, there might be some issues there. What those issues might be, hard to say, but I think overall this can definitely be a good way to help people just kind of get out of those nightmares. I'm sure they can be very terrifying.
Certainly, I think about this a lot when I don't know if you've ever had this, but you have a nightmare, you wake up, you kind of roll over, and sometimes you'll fall right back into that same dream. I'm not sure if you've ever experienced that before. So I'm hoping that if something like this could help with that, then, I think all around, it's a good choice.
Yeah, I think definitely all around, it's definitely a good choice. For me, I've had nightmares before, too. I'm sure we all have. And yeah, I would definitely say that I know when I woken up, honestly, I kind of just sit for a few minutes, like, what just happened? And then probably just go back to sleep. And usually for me, fortunately, never had to worry about those nightmares. But for those of you that may have nightmares when it comes to video gaming, this could get a little on the interesting side. Although it might be a good thing, though. This may actually be a good dream, as the next generation of video gaming is here. Microsoft launched its anticipated Xbox Series X Tuesday. The console comes with a price tag of $499, which is the same as its previous generation Xbox One. Gamers willing to give up a drive to play disc-based games can opt for the Xbox Series S at a price point that is $200 lower. Video game consoles manufacturers are pushing consumers to download more games instead of buying them in the store. It's a way to combat the secondhand game trade where players can buy previously used discs at cheaper prices since developers get no money on those sales. I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on this because, you get the money when you buy it new, and then some people sometimes can't afford it, but I honestly think that you can do some downloads too. I don't know. It's kind of a tough way because you don't want to hurt the stores, but at the same time, you want to give credit where credit's due, so it's kind of a down-the-middle situation.
And certainly, with the holidays coming up and us possibly going back into quarantine, we saw similar effects with Nintendo systems. When the Switch came out, there was a huge increase in want for that and demand. So with this Xbox coming out, I agree with you. I think you give and you take some. I remember my brother's a huge gamer. Growing up, he would always trade in some of those old games now. But you also have to remember, Xbox, like other consoles, has that online streaming play with them that a lot of computers already do. So it's a kind of a give and take here. Definitely, though, with that high demand, we'll have to take a look at that and keep monitoring it to see how it goes. But in other news, Japanese towns have deployed more technology, a robot wolf with flashing lights, and it scares away bears. It's become a problem in the countryside due to rising concerns from local residents. Dubbed Monster Wolf, the red-eyed machine has an infrared sensor that can detect bears or other moving animals. The robot, which is programmed with more than 60 different types of sound, will move its head, make noise, beam flashy lights, you can see it there, when it detects an animal nearby. Now, the developers of the robot have sold more more than 70 units since the product hit the market in 2018. The Taekwana city in Hokkaido recently purchased 2 units after the area had 2 cases of wild bears roaming around in residential areas in September. City officials said bears become active and dangerous as they increased their search for food before hibernating in late November. They also added that the city has not recorded any bear sightings since installing the monster wolf. Yeah, I mean, definitely crazy thinking about this. Growing up on a farm, I think that's definitely something we could even use here in Wisconsin with all our wild animals roaming about.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good idea there. Just make sure people kind of know what's there, because you definitely don't want people getting spooked by that.